right now. Okay, greetings. This is Eduardo Jumbo. In this tutorial, I'll teach you how to create an HTML5 drag and drop upload animation using PHP and HTML5, which means CSS3, some JavaScript, and obviously CSS3. Before I begin, quick reminder that every day I host a live stream, usually around 2 p.m. Eastern. It's on jumbo.com. Go to the watch menu, live submit. You can see the topics for this tutorial and future posted live streams. You're free to ask any questions in live chat about programming or lifestyle topics. And for example, if you go to jumbo.com right now for this article, you see there will be the link to the actual live stream where you can post your requests. Also, be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. Okay, let's continue. So creating a Blingy drag and drop file upload animation with PHP and HTML5. We're going to use no libraries. This is a beginner friendly tutorial. We'll create the drag and drop file upload animation all without relying on any external libraries or frameworks. We'll keep it simple yet fun with the animation effects. This will help you learn how to build a fully functional and visually engaging file upload system with just basic HTML5, CSS, and PHP. Okay, so what are we going to build? So as you can see in the screenshot up here, we're basically just going to build a place where people can drag and drop, or they can also click to then use the file manager to upload a file. You can also extend it by having multiple files, meaning they can drag more than one file as well. Okay, so why use just HTML5 and PHP? In modern web projects, libraries like jQuery, React, or Vue.js are commonly used to simplify things. However, this tutorial focuses on only HTML5 for the front end and native PHP for the back end, making a perfect starting point for beginners who want to understand the core concepts of web development without extra complexity. I want to mention one thing as well. I have come across several, even though these libraries I've mentioned are updated, I have come across several applications which are using ancient, you heard me right, ancient versions of the libraries. It's crazy. For example, even to this day in 2025, I come across applications using like version 1, like I'm talking 1.1 and before even 1.1 of like jQuery, which is crazy. So at the end of this tutorial, you have a working drag and drop file upload form, a Blingy animation that has the user experience and knowledge of basic PHP file handling and the file upload process. So let's actually get started here. So if you want the HTML code, you can simply just expand this and you can simply copy it and paste it into your favorite programming text editor. And I also have the PHP here for the backend, and then because I'm running this locally, you can put it on your server, whether it's a production server or a testing server, or if you have, like example, I also have Apache and sometimes Nginx locally, but in this particular case I'll just use the built-in PHP web server. That way if anybody wants to follow along, it's pretty straightforward. So let's start with the HTML. So the HTML, this is a simple doc type HTML. Then there's the HTML tags, there's head tags. So in the head tag, I have the char set set to UTF-8. This is not necessary if you're on a Unix type system like Linux, Mac, BSDs, and obviously Unix type systems, because the default is always UTF-8. Windows uses UTF-16, so this is why you might have to make that change. And then I also put a viewport. I set the initial scale to 1.0. The reason I do this is because these days when I do testing, I also test on my I test on the on a mobile device or tablet, so I want to be ready to be able to test on those. And I just give it a title. That's not necessary, but it's nice to give a title, so it's good practice to do that. Tells you what the application or the page does. Okay, then the styles. This is just a reset. I set the margin to 0, padding to 0, and the boxing size to border box, so this way it's exactly the way I want it to be. Because sometimes by default it uses the other type of sizing and then things won't align properly, and it's really annoying, so I just do the reset right there. And then for the font family, I'm using sans serif font. Set display flex, justify content in the center, align items into center, set the height to 100 viewport height, and background color it's a little light grayish color, and that's for the body. And then for the container, just align everything into the center, and then there's a drop zone. This is where let me actually scroll right here. So this is the drop zone. This, you see where this little dotted line is? That's the drop zone where files will be accepted. Files won't be accepted outside of it. Okay, so that one is, I set the width to 400 pixels, the height to 200 pixels. The background color is another slightly less gray. It's almost whitish color. And then as you see, the dashes for the border, 2 pixels, and that's set to CCC, which is grayish color. It's like a darker color, so it's easy to see. I gave a border radius of 10 pixels, display flex, justify center, and the align items as put to the center. The font size is 1.2 REM. The REM stands for relative. And the color is 333. It's another more light gray color. Position relative, overflow hidden, cursor is pointer. So that way when you put your mouse over, you know that it's a call to action. And the transition, the background color, 0.3 seconds, and ease. That's the animation, or the one I'm going to use. So when you hover over the background, sorry, you hover over the background area, or mouse over, the background color will change to this color here. It's a not quite reddish color. And then the status, when the thing has been uploaded, just below it, for example, I'll show you. You see what happens when you drag. It's a screenshot. So when I drag the photo there, and then if something goes wrong, it will say error message, and then if it will say file successful. So that one also has a slightly different color, and the margin top is 20 pixels. The font size is 1 REM, so you can see it's clearly smaller font than the drop zone. Okay, so those are our styles. So you see here's the container. Inside the container, there's the first child, which is the drop zone. It has an ID of drop zone and a class of drop zone, and has a paragraph tag in there which says drag files here to upload. And then the second parent is the status, and that's an ID. It's a div as well. And then we'll go to our JavaScript. So basically what I do is I get the drop zone. I use the document.getElementById drop zone. I also get the status because both are IDs. And then for the drop zone, I add an event listener that drag over. So when something's dragged over, it will invoke the event. And what I want to do is I want to prevent the default behavior. And as you can see, I changed the style to a slight reddish color. And then there's drag leave, meaning that if I drag something out of there, I mean, it's not going to be uploaded because I've dragged it out. That's another event listener. And what I do, I change the background color for that one to F5, F5, F5. The previous one was F0, 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 that's hex codes. And then of course, there's one when something's actually dropped there. Another event listener for the drop zone. Again, prevent the default, and then we change the background color to F5, F5, F5. That we reset it. And then we also do the handle the file. So as you can see, I use e-data transfer.files because when you do a drag and drop, it transfers data to that element. So that's why I grab the files and I check to see if the file length is greater than 0, because there will be multiple files. So if it's one or multiple, what I'll do is I'll just grab all of them and I'll send them to this function called upload files, and the files in there as well. So that function upload files, what I do is I create a new form data, And then what I do is I loop through, the argument I take is the files, so I loop through the files until the length. So then what I do is I just use the form data.append files, and then the file with these two square brackets, or opening square bracket and closing square brackets, and then the file number. Okay, and then after that I change the status, the inner text. I'll change it to uploading ... with the ellipsis sign. Okay, then after that I use fetch, so I go to the upload.php file, the method is post, and the body I just send in the form data. Then after that I get the response I want a JSON file, and then after that, if everything goes well, and then data. So the data, if the status is successful, I use 3 equal symbols. Then the status inner text, I change it to file uploaded successfully. Else I will say error uploading files in the inner text. After that, there's a catch, so error. Then the status inner text will have the error. It will say error uploading files, and then the console I'll put the error and whatever the error is. The reason I do it this way is because most of the time when something goes wrong with uploading, it could be maybe a memory issue, it could be a database issue, it could be maybe something embarrassing that a server technician has done or a coder has done. So you don't want to output that, because the people uploading will probably not be technically savvy, so they won't understand anything. So that's why you just put it in a console here for testing, of course, and that way developer will be able to inspect and see what the error is, and then tell other people. So this is one of those reasons why you see these two error messages. One is a very simple error uploading files. So somebody say, hey, I got this error message, error uploading files, and then a developer will be able to go in the console and actually see the error message. Now, something even better than this, I'll just remove the console message and just, for testing it's fine, but if this was a real app on a production, I wouldn't put this error message in the console. What I would do instead is in the backend, I'll have a way where it writes this. Obviously for the PHP error, it will write it to the log anyway, but I'll just save it that way. Okay, and that's our, just close off the body and the HTML tag. That's it. So let's quick look at the upload.php file. So obviously we have the PHP syntax there. Then we create a variable for the upload directory. We call it uploads, and then we check if the folder exists. If it doesn't exist, we will create it, and then we'll echo JSON encode. It's a status error message, failed to create upload directly if we're not able to create it. Then we exit. So the exit will prevent it from continuing to run, because, like, for example, if this file hasn't been created, it doesn't make sense to then continue the upload, because we are going to save it in the uploads folder. Okay, now that said, with PHP it handles file uploads differently. You have to use the $ all caps files, and whatever the name of the name you decide to use for the file upload. Remember, we created files with the in our JavaScript, so that's one way. And we see if it's set, and we make sure it's not empty the name, because it will create a name as well. So we create a variable for the upload files, and we'll create another name. We'll create an array we call upload file names. So because they're going to be multiple, or they might be multiple, so we need to loop it. So I use a for each loop, and then what I do is for each run, I get the temporary file name. As you can see, PHP makes it pretty easy. It's temp_name. So we grab that, and then we get the file size, if that's also sent to us, and then we get, if there's an error message, it will be put here. So if there's no error, what we do is we create a unique file name. So I use the unique ID that's built into PHP, and then what I do is I then prefix it with an hyphen and whatever the name of the file is. So let's say the file is called edward.jpg. See, Edward is a very common name, so I can't use that. So that's why you need to put something unique to it and keep it keep the rest the same. So this way I can upload like edward.jpg a billion times and it will always change. I give it a unique file name. And then the target, remember we created the variable for the upload folder before, so there's just the upload directory. We append the unique file name, and then we just use move underscore uploaded file from the temporary file area to the target path. And then after that we add this unique file name to upload file names array. Okay, then after that everything went, if things didn't go well, we'll just JSON encode status error, will say failed to move file, and then we exit because we want to continue as well. Else, meaning everything went well, we will JSON encode status error, then we say file upload error exit, meaning that if it's not able to, if there's an error during the file upload, we'll just exit as well. Then if everything goes well, we just return a message with everything went well. So we just status success files, and the upload files, the array. The reason we can do this is very simple. It's simply because JSON is an array. So JSON encode, we just encode everything, arrays or not. Else, we'll just say no files uploaded. That's it. And then you need this for an exit, so just put die, because if you don't do this, you see how there's a space. For example, I end the code on line 47, but you see there's a space here on 48. Or there might be one 49, because some programs like Guinea, by default, they like to add an extra space. So if that happened, this program sometimes will produce an error because it will output the white space, which you don't want. So that's why this is die, and then meaning that if there's white space after it, it won't affect the running of the program. So that's our application, and in a few seconds I'll show you how to run this. And as you can see here, the screenshot, and let's start running this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the command line here just to show you what everything looks like here. So this is the folder. You see this is the drag and drop upload HTML, and this is the upload.php file. And I have two sample files here of Talks the Penguin for uploading. You see there's no uploads folder here as well. So on the command line, I need to start the PHP server. So simply PHP space hyphen capital S space, I'll just say localhost colon 8000. So it has started the PHP development server. That's a built-in PHP server. Okay, now I'm just gonna take this out of the way so I can open up the Chromium browser. Okay, so I have the Chromium browser here, and then I'll just go to HTTP localhost 8000, and I'll just say, you see, yeah, because I didn't make it index.php, which is fine. So drag hyphen drop hyphen upload.html. And just to show you what it shows here in the command line, it said no such file directory. Oh, no kidding. Okay, so then after that, I'll press enter, and you can see it says, let me actually zoom out of here. There we go. Zoomed it to 150%. You can see it says drag drops here. You see when I put my mouse over, it's a kind of a bluish hue. It's actually gray, but it's like a bluish hue here. So obviously there are two ways I can upload. Like if I can drag and drop multiple files or just one file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let's make this a little bit smaller. There we go. That should be good. So I'm going to drag this Talks the Penguin and drag it in here, and you can see it says file uploaded successfully. So if we go on here in our file manager, you see it created the uploads folder, and inside the upload folder you see it created the unique ID and you just then up the hyphen, and then it was prefixed to the actual name of the file. Okay, and I said before, you can also upload multiple files. So in this particular one, I'm going to upload 3 files. Okay, I hold down the control key and I just here. You see it says file successfully uploaded. So if we go here, we should have 3 files. Oh, we still have 1. So let me actually get rid of that. And I'm going to refresh this. I'm on Wayland and I'm using a trackball mouse, so it's really hard sometimes to actually I'll do all of, it's like I selected all 4. Yeah, you see it says file uploaded successfully. So you see it created the upload folder again. If I go inside the upload folder, there we go. So you see basically took all those files and then it prefixed a unique ID. You see the unique ID for all of them, they're completely different. All of them have unique IDs, and there we go. So this will allow you, for example, I can re-upload the same files if we just prefix a unique ID in front of them. Okay, now so obviously if you had a database, you then put the file name into the database. That way if you want to view it, you'll be able to grab that and view that. But that's for probably another tutorial, and it's pretty easy to do. So that's it. So that's the simple Blingy file upload. So now that we're done with the code, I want to show you something. I don't think I've done this before. So you see how I have this built-in PHP server running. Let me zoom out a little bit. I don't think it gives us instructions. Yeah, it doesn't give instructions, but basically I'm on Linux, so it's Control C, and you see Control C will actually stop the built-in PHP web server. I believe it will be Command C if you're on a Mac. And obviously if I refresh this, nothing should happen. Yeah, so that's what should happen. Okay, so I'll get rid of this, and what I'll do now is let's go back to the article. And as I said, this is the live stream. So if you click on this live stream, as you can see, there's a slight delay, but it's actually live. It's what I'm recording live right now. All right, so let's finish this up. In this tutorial, we've built a drag and drop upload system using only HTML5 for the front end and PHP for the back end. No libraries were used, which keeps the code clean and simple, perfect for beginners. If you're interested in diving deeper into PHP development, check out my book, Learning PHP. It's available on Amazon. Links are in the description. You can also search for Ojambo on Amazon. And my course, Learning PHP, which is available on ojamboshop.com. Again, the links are also in the description. Both are excellent sources or resources to help you level up your PHP skills. If you're struggling programming and need help with PHP applications, I offer one-on-one programming tutorials and PHP application updates or migration services. Feel free to contact me on ojambo.com/contact or ojamboservices.com/contact. So this beginner level tutorial has shown you how to use HTML5 and PHP to create a drag and drop upload animation. The Blingy animation adds some excitement, and by keeping everything simple and without libraries, you now have a good understanding of how to drag and drop file uploads. Okay, before I finish here, a quick reminder that I do a live stream every single day. It's around 2 p.m. Eastern time. Visit ojambo.com and check the watch menu, then the live sub menu for details for upcoming topics for the tutorials. And also, if you have any requests, just drop them down in the comment section, or just contact me as well. That's a good way to do it. And on top of that, be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. Now, since this is a live stream, I'm checking the live stream. I don't see any chat requests, so I'm going to end this live stream, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. I'd like to thank everybody who subscribed so far.